Topic 4, Coaching Conversations Made Simple, the GROW model. Hi Ellie, today we're talking about coaching conversations and how they can be made simple using the GROW model. Now, we're talking about this because there seems to be a habit when things get a bit frantic in the workplace. Bosses and supervisors tend to jump straight in with advice and solutions without necessarily giving their worker the space to figure out how they want to react. So that's where coaching conversations comes in, doesn't it? So instead of making the person feel disempowered and as if their workload has increased because they're being told what to do and how to do it, having a coaching conversation can build capability, accountability and engagement, all of which are key ingredients for a healthy, psychologically safe culture. Can you explain a bit more about this?
Yeah, absolutely, Liz. We really love the GROW model because it's really, really simple. And quite often when people think about coaching, they think it's a really formalized process. And, we know small business is really, really busy and they don't often have time to carve out and sit down and have those really deep one-on-ones. But the GROW model is so simple that you can just have those as you're doing your daily work. And really, exactly as you said, it's about creating self-reliant problem solvers. So quite often leaders think that they have to have all the answers, that they have to know everything. Well, it's not the case. Really, what we want to do is open conversations up so that we're having good dialogue between people. And quite often, our team members, they know the answer. We've just got to help and coach it out of them and give them the confidence to really explore their ideas about solutions to workplace problems. So the GROW model is a really, really simple model. I'll take you through that at the moment. So G stands for the goal. So what do we want out of this conversation? What's important? Now, perhaps when we're having a more formalized conversation, that might be someone coming and saying, I want to talk about this. Or perhaps in an informal conversation, it might be around what's happening in your world. Let's talk about what's going on. What are some issues? What can I help you with? What's going on? So again, it might be something that you explore together. Then the second part is we move to what we call reality. And reality really is around where are you now? What's happening in your world? What are the things that you've tried? Where are we going? What's working? What's not? So really starting to get a little bit of context around the situation. And then what we want to do is start to look for options. And that's kind of where we start to not problem solve, but what could we do? What are the options available to us? Have you tried this before? What's worked in the past? Why? What else? And sometimes we talk about the 5 whys and we kind of say, well, why this? Why that? Why that? And we really explore and go a little bit deeper. And we might mix it into a bit of the reality as well. Well, again, what's working? What's not? And then the last part and the most important part of it really is the way forward, or kind of the what next, where we kind of agree on what we're going to do, what support they might do, how can the leader perhaps assist them, or what could they do to help, and when are we going to check back in to see how you're going with that. So really, really simple framework, GROW. We can skip through that quite quickly in a really easy conversation, and it really opens it up. So it's not a tell where the leader's always telling someone. It's a conversation where we're asking a lot more questions and we're empowering and helping others to come up with their own solutions, which creates accountability.
Just putting a WHS lens on that, you could use that model for consultation?
Absolutely. That's what we want to do, is really, because people have great ideas. So what we want to do is empower them and ask them and say, what are you seeing in your world? That's our reality. What are some things that you could try? That's our options. How do we get to the goal of creating that safer workplace, or solving perhaps something that's a troublesome spot for us? And again, and what are we going to do, and when are we going to do it, and what help do you need? That's a simple GROW conversation right there.
So just to be clear, what's the difference between supporting and solving?
Very good question, Liz. So we want to support people, we want to help them, we want to empower them. We don't need to solve every single problem. When we're always solving problems, what we're doing is disempowering people and they're losing their voice, and that can cause a psychosocial hazard around perhaps job demands, reward and recognition, that autonomy, all of those sorts of things. When we're always solving, we're taking away power from people to feel like that they've got purpose, to feel like that they've got connection to our organisation.
And the flip side too is, especially for small businesses, if they feel like they're the ones who always have to come up with the solution, if they don't have to do that, that takes away some of the pressure from them. Makes them less stressful, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it creates innovation. It challenges us to think differently and have those really healthy conversations around how can we grow, how can we change, and perhaps for the business owner gives them more time to explore different options.
So what are your key takeaways with the GROW model?
So we really want to make sure that we balance support and challenge, and what we want to do is make sure that we're giving people the space to take ownership and to create a safe working environment. We want to kind of make sure that we're following that GROW sequence and particularly giving them the support at the end. And what we want to do is create self-reliant problem solvers. We want to empower people so that they have a voice and so that they know that what they say and do matters in the workplace.
And as is the case with all of the topics in this series, you've created a practical cheat sheet, as it were.
Absolutely. So we've got our downloadable, which you can download. It goes through the GROW model. It gives you some really good reflective prompts, some questions, how to work through it, and some really good tips for leaders as well.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm sure they'll find that useful.
Absolutely, Liz. I think, it's really important to make sure that we make the time and think about that coaching conversations aren't formal conversations. They can be had anywhere, anytime. They can take 5 minutes. They can take an hour. Again, we've got to be flexible in our approach.
Very sensible. And thank you so much for your time, Ellie.
Thanks, Liz.